Hi, everybody. So, this is a game I have coming from the stream of my friend Titan Jeff. And if you're interested in Apex Legends and other game streams, Madden, Injustice, Modern Warfare Remastered, any kinds of the sort, there will be two links in the description below. One of them is to my Twitch channel, and the other is to my friend from the session, Titan Jeff. But the thing that I really wanted to talk about in this video is this thing I've been thinking about, I guess, for a little bit now, about what kinds of things am I going to regret? What kinds of things do I want to do by the time that I'm older? How do I want to live my life now in such a way that it is my life when I am older? And so I've kind of been thinking, about these things as they relate to how I professionally want to achieve, or what do I want to do professionally, or how do I want to do it specifically. How is the way I want to go about operating my life? What kinds of decisions am I going to make, and what is my life going to be essentially? An example I think maybe of this is I guess I have two examples here. So the first thing I kind of thought of was I entered college as a business major because I thought that was just like the safe choice for me. I thought that was like the thing that I like, the skill set that I had that was kind of the best in high school, and so I might as well continue going forward with that. But it wasn't at all something that I was necessarily interested in. And I made the decision that I would rather, do something that I love and maybe not be successful, than try to just do something to play it safe. And part of making that decision is now, if you're going to, I'm going to commit to it, is essentially the idea. And so part of that is I'm not going to do things that I would regret when I'm older, so to say. Not necessarily like, oh, I'm not going to go crazy at this party. That's not what I'm saying. I mean, I don't want to have spent my whole life doing things to give me freedom later in life, and then looking back when I have that freedom and thinking, oh, it wasn't worth trading 40, 50 years of my life to have this freedom. Or whatever the scenario may be. And so as, switching from, less stable jobs, I know like a lot of people my age, and I was just actually at like, I was back at home finishing up a porch for my parents, painting and scraping it. And they had some friends having like a party, with like a lobster party, and yesterday, so I went to that, and they're talking about their children being, one of them was like interning at Walgreens for coding, and they were just talking about all these different things that they're doing, and they're kind of like, these play it safe kind of maneuvers, but they're finding success in them. And they're like, oh, what do you do? And it's like, well, right now I am working with a catering company. I'm going to zine fests. I'm making and selling my own art, and that's kind of what I'm doing right now. And those types of people often think they have like the people of the parents who are interning at Walgreens or whatever are the type of people to like think they have all the answers, and so they're giving me little bits of gruff about my decisions or whatever. So I don't have that. But then I think a smaller example of these kinds of things. It's not always just large decisions that I'm making and saying, "Oh no, I want to now live a life where I'm in an office." It's not just decisions like that, but also there's speaking of the catering company. This past weekend, I was cleaning up at the end of an event. There was a wedding, and everybody was getting ready to leave. You got to make sure you clean up the place you were at before leaving, and there were water bottles and Powerade bottles and cups left on the counter, and that was like the last thing we had to do, just make sure we left the space clean. So I start grabbing cups. Hey, does anybody want these? No, nobody wants these. And so I go to throw them away, and there was water in one of the cups, like a little bit of water left in the cup, and the one in charge, I don't want to get into the whole power structure of this place because it's very confusing, but the lady that's in charge for the evening was like, oh, no, you can't do that, blah, blah, you can't do that, blah, blah. And I was just like, oh, okay, this is not something I'm gonna feel bad about when I'm 90. And and like that basically what I said to her. She was just like, you can't do that, we've got to do this with the water. And I was just like, okay, uh, that already happened, and it's just not something I'm gonna feel bad about when I'm 90. And this person, since saying that, it's not just like my boss, so to say. Um, this is my sister-in-law as well. And so she was talking. Actually, the opposite of that. She came to pick up my sister from the house, and she did not speak to me. She didn't acknowledge me really, and so it's just like, if she's gonna be a bitch, then she can just be a bitch about it. This is exactly the kind of thing that I said that I'm not interested in doing. I'm not interested in spending my life in such a way that I'm worried about cups and water in the trash. I'm just not gonna put up with that. You can be worried about that. Yeah, you can spend your life being worried about that, but that's not something I'm gonna be worried about now, and it's not something that I'm gonna be concerned about later in my life either. Uh, and that was kind of the gist of it for me. It was just there are things that you should take important and take important. There are things that should be very important to you. There are things that you should take seriously, and I just don't think that a lot of them are. I think a lot of the things that people get upset about are things that are just weighing them down. There are things that are just cups and waters, so cups of water, so to say. They're just not important things. And so that's something I'm trying to be cognizant about now, so that I don't get to a point where I'm older and I'm regretful that I didn't do that. I'm regretful that I spent too much time worrying about the water in the trash can, or I'm spent too much time worrying about, am I gonna get this Friday off, or am I gonna, I don't want to spend my life doing that. And so I think that was an important thing for me. I'm kind of realizing maybe it's this kind of thing that's not necessarily as important to everybody else, maybe, and I think it's actually conflicting to what a lot of people think is a good idea. And so it's a weird bit of predicament for me. But anyway, that's kind of what I have. That's the video. Thank you guys for watching. And if you're interested in those streams, check out the links in the description, as well as be sure to subscribe, because the good stuff makes it here, right? And as well as if you're interested in my friend Titan Jeff. So I'll see you guys on the later.